This is the day that we've all been waiting for. I'm finally going to reorganize most of the yarn that I currently have in my possession. As you guys can tell, I've got just yarn in PR bags, and for like 2 months it's just been sitting in this huge trash baggie. So literally just like an hour ago, Jordan and I built this little cubicle shelf. So now this is going to be sitting inside of the closet. I almost said garage. And I've got these really cute like little square tote bags. So today's goal is to try to condense most of what I have as much as I can into these little squares. So let's begin and just dump everything out. This is probably such a bad idea. I don't want to talk about it. It's so bad. All right, you know what? Let's go ahead and start with the bigger, bulkier yarns. So you guys have seen me make a round pillow out of this. This is the Universal Yarn Bella Chanel Big Glimmer. It's a really nice like number 7 100% polyester type of yarn. I really like this kind of fiber if you guys are going to be doing like home decor, but I only have one of these skeins left. So let's go ahead and throw this at the very bottom. All right, next up we've got some Lion brand wool ease thick and quick. These are obviously 2 different shades, but because these are still brand spanking new, I'm going to hold on to these. You know, I can't resist a full untouched skein. I believe I got one of these to make like a balaclava with, and then the other one I was making a beanie for Jordan. I bought too much stock, you guys know me, so I'm going to save these, and I might just make this like the worsted weight / chunky weight bin. This is so sad. I literally just bought this skein probably like 2 months ago and I already forgot about it, but I got it on sale. I think this was like $5. This is the Loops and Thread Eco Cozy Watercolors, and I just really like this. I think this is 100% recycled plastic. It's probably, yeah, 100% recycled polyester. I really do like these colors. It's very like watercolory. And I feel like I want to hold on to this because I'll probably make some more like macrame hangings or something. So I wanted to give this a go. Let's go ahead and throw this in the chunky bin. Ooh, this is actually a really gorgeous yarn. This is the Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn. I know a lot of you guys are not big fans of Hobby Lobby. I haven't gone there in so long. But again, because I already paid for this probably over a year ago, I'm going to hang on to it. I don't want to just toss it. I'll figure out something to make with it, but it is a really gorgeous skein for what it's worth. Very, again, like watercolory, kind of like lily garden, Parisian garden, I don't know. Really gorgeous though. I like these speckles. This is honestly one of the best 100% acrylic yarns. This is also a worsted weight yarn. Like I said, with Red Heart Super Saver, I'm not the biggest fan because they pill and fleece really, really easily. But when I used to use the Hobby Lobby yarn, I have never really had an issue with that. They're pretty buttery smooth. So I'm gonna hang on to this, find something cute to make with this, maybe like a knitted tank top or a knitted bralette, something quick and easy. But it's super gorgeous. So let's throw that. I don't know what to think. This is how much space we've already taken up. It's a little worrisome. So let's just keep on trucking. I already feel so swamped and we're just scratching the surface. I've got some leftover Hobbi. I think this is like ribbon yarn. So it's a super thick, like number 5, I guess you could say like a tape yarn, but it's a little bit more ribbon. I think this is 100% cotton, and because I have some leftover, again, this kind of yarn is really, really great to use for like home decor. So if you guys want to make like purses, handbags, you can make like a rug out of this. Again, wall hangings, anything of the sort, even like plant holders, pot holders. I've also come up on this Loops and Thread Impeccable. It's like a speckled yarn. If you guys remember this, I used this to make another balaclava. In case you guys haven't caught my drift yet, I'm a huge, huge fan of Loops and Thread. They're so freaking affordable, and typically they're sold over at Michael's. I want to say that roughly each skein is about $3.50, but Michael's always has like a 20% off coupon. Oh, I forgot I have these 2 skeins. I might actually have another one around here, but if I'm not mistaken, I think these are my Lion brand 24/7 cotton yarns. Now, I like these, I don't like these. I'm kind of on the fence about it. Kind of pricey, honestly, for one skein. So here's my take on this kind of yarn. First and foremost, it's a chainette construction. You guys know I'm a huge fan of chainette. And to top it off, like I said, this is a 100% cotton yarn. So it's really nice, lightweight, breathable for summertime. But the downside of this yarn is that it's not the softest cotton. I wouldn't typically use this 24/7 cotton yarn to actually make a garment with. So let's go ahead and just donate those. We don't need them in the pile anymore. I forgot I had these, and I'm honestly not too sure if I should even hold on to them anymore. This is the Llys Sugar and Cream 100% cotton. Now, this is another kind of cotton yarn that I'm kind of on the fence about. I've got 4 different shades here, and I believe I purchased all of this yarn about a year ago with the intent of making some kind of shoulder bag, tote bag, some kind of like meshy construction. Now, I would really highly suggest the Llys Sugar and Cream cotton yarn to make like bags or, you know, home decor of the sort. Again, I wouldn't typically want to wear sugar and cream on my skin. Again, it's another cotton yarn, but it's not the most luxurious. I'd rather go for a Pima cotton. So, you know, I have them. I think I'll hold on to them maybe a little bit longer. All right, so this is what the first worsted weight chunky bin is looking like. I do still have a little bit of height left in this one basket. So I'm thinking about just condensing a lot of my Hobbi Glitter Delight and see if I can get as much as I can in there. This is a number 5 chunky or bulky weighted yarn, but I believe it's like half cotton and half acrylic. So it's a really nice mixture, pretty breathable again for summer. I also did make a shawl tutorial out of this yarn. So if you guys want to see that, I'll leave the link up here somewhere. But I've got so many skeins. Like, let's see how many I have. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. I've got too many to even say on camera. But honestly, I really do like this one shade right here. This is why I want to hold on to these, because I don't know if you guys can see here, there's just really gorgeous teal green colors. It's kind of like a roving yarn in that aspect, that it kind of changes and color shifts as you work with it. So this is one of the shades. Again, same skein, different colorways. I just love this like sage green. In case you guys are wondering, this video is not sponsored. I'm literally just talking about yarns that I like, okay? So nobody come after me. But here's a really crazy colorful like rainbow palette. It's pretty much just like Hobbi Glitter Delight here at the top, but I'm gonna set this aside, and now we can start looking at more of like my DK weight, finer weight items, even like some fingering. So I did forget that I have like this little baggie of saved leftover yarn. It's kind of like yarns that I didn't want to get dog fur on. So huge advocate of this leftover universal yarn. This is actually the Rico Design, I think, creative mohair, but this stuff is so gorgeous. I actually made a top-down raglan sweater using this mohair yarn, and y'all went crazy for it. I have like 3 different videos on it, so I'll link them up here right now. But this made such a lightweight garment. Again, if you guys are in shop or like looking around for some really gorgeous quality mohair yarn, highly suggest the Rico Design. I'll leave a link if you guys want to check out some of the different colorways, but so stunning. These are definitely my colors. And again, very fine yarn. All right, and while we're on the subject of saved scrap yarns, I could not get myself to toss this. There's not very much left for me to work with, but in case you guys can't remember, if you don't remember, you guys have seen this before, I actually made my off the shoulder. This yarn has been one of my favorite ever since I picked it up. This is a really fun, unique yarn because it's actually a roving style yarn. So although we have some sections here that are a little bit more like sport weight or like a light DK weight, we do transition into these super bulky, like number 5, number 6 dense sections right here. You see how quickly that like transitions? So this yarn is so stunning. It's kind of like a sea foamy green color. Again, you guys know this is definitely my vibe. I've picked out, and I've had these 2 skeins just sitting on the shelf, and again, they're brand new, they're untouched, they just kind of like unraveled. But here's another great example. You've got like a super sport weight, very light DK weight moment, and then it quickly transitions into this like super fluffy, bulky, cloudy kind of section. And here is also another colorway, same universal yarn, but I can't get myself to toss this little scrap. Come on, like tell me these little color pops wouldn't look gorgeous in some kind of tank top. So I'm gonna hang on to these. Better than it was before. Next up, I'm actually gonna throw these in with the super fine lightweight box because these are actually some more Hobbi yarns. I love these. I actually know exactly what projects I want to make with these. I just haven't had the time to get around to it. But I do have these two really gorgeous cakes. This is, I believe, 100% cotton. And if I'm not mistaken, this is like a number 2, maybe even like a number 1 lace weight yarn. I believe it's actually labeled as like a number 2 sport weight, but this is so fine. Can you guys see how tiny that collapses? But this stuff feels so luxurious. Again, I'm a huge fan of Hobbi's yarns. I love everything that they have. And I believe that this cake here is their Twister yarn. Now this is also labeled as a number 2 sport weight yarn, but comparably this actually has just a little bit more thickness than the Dahlia. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is also a 100% cotton yarn as well. So let's save these. Actually, this might have some acrylic mixed in, I'm not too sure, but some really gorgeous cakes. Can't forget about Hobbi. Love Hobbi's yarns. All right, you know what? While we're here, I'm just gonna touch on some of these Hobbi yarns as well. This is the Hobbi Amigo yarn, and this is a 100% acrylic yarn. I really like these. If you guys can't remember, I believe I used these to make that lacy raglan sweater for Valentine's Day. But this is a really comfortably soft 100% acrylic yarn. It's pretty basic, but really high quality. Again, I would rather go for this over like a Red Heart Super Saver. Feels very buttery smooth. So I'm gonna hold on to this. I feel like I could make some kind of shawl or I don't know, something very lightweight. And because I still have a handful of this leftover Diablo mohair, I really just want to pair these two together and make some kind of, I don't know, some kind of like mohair shrug or mohair shawl. But again, a really great recommendation for a 100% acrylic yarn. All right, we're speeding right along. I came across a few skeins of this Hobbi Colorina. Again, can y'all tell? I'm on a Hobbi kick. I love their yarns. But they actually sent this to me a while back to make some kind of like matching set with. And I still have these leftover skeins, but I love this yarn. Is actually a very unique type of yarn. You don't typically see this like in stores. So I definitely want to keep my hands on this. Again, this is the Colorina yarn, and this is 80% acrylic and 20% wool. So if you guys kind of think about it, it's kind of like a Lion Brand Thick and Quick that's also 80% acrylic and 20% wool. But the upside is that this Colorina yarn, for whatever reason, is actually very smooth for having wool in it. And just take a look at this color transition. I also have this other shade here, same yarn. This is Colorina again, but really gorgeous. I just love this bright fuchsia. Definitely reminds me of like spring, summer. So yeah, I've only got 2 of these hanks or skeins left, so let's hang on to these as well. Jordan has been very patient when it comes to all of the yarn that sits around this house. I can tell deep down that it's eating him alive, but he bites his tongue and he just says, "Oh, I like your yarn." So today's a happy day for him because I'm finally just cleaning everything up. All right, we took a quick little lunch break. Been talking for way too long, but let's show you a quick update on the pile that we have left. I'm actually really excited because I'm pretty sure that all of these yarns are actually going to fit in the 3 tote boxes that I have. I might actually have a lot of space left over. The next 2 skeins I actually wanted to show you guys. I am holding these in my possession because I actually have been meaning to write out and record a tutorial with this, but this is the Lion Brand Shawl in a Ball, and this stuff is so stunning. I believe it's labeled as a number 4 medium weight yarn, which is absolutely bonkers. I'm sure you guys have probably used this yarn before, but let's give you a quick little finger swatch. This is not a number 4 yarn. Okay, this is probably like at most a number 2 sport weight, but it's so gorgeous. There's a ton of like glitter flecks in it, and I'm pretty sure here on the ball they show you what it looks like when you knit with it. I'm actually planning on writing out like a shawl pattern. So yeah, kind of like in this photo right here, this girl has it very meshy and open stitch like that. That's what I'm planning essentially to make with this, except I want to knit. Ooh, all right, a lot of these yarns that I have left are actually kind of like repeats and replicas. So let's just show you the last few things. I have had these in my possession for a few months now because I'm not too sure what I want to make with them, but they're really great like sustainable types of yarn. Because I only have like one skein of each of these different types of lines, I don't want to toss them, but I'm thinking I'll probably have to throw these into some kind of scrappy project. This first one is the Rico Design Creative Lazy Hazy Summer Cotton Yarn. It's a DK weight yarn, and I believe it's 50% cotton and 50% acrylic. So it's really fun, roving, multi-spun type of yarn. I really like these colors. Again, you guys know these are my favorite. So again, I really like this. It's really great, honestly, for like summertime. This would be a really great summertime recommendation just because you've got that cotton mixed in. If you had just a 100% acrylic item, you're going to be sweating. It's not breathable. It's not fun, okay? We need the cotton mixed in. So one skein of this bad boy. I also have one skein of the Universal Yarn Truva. So let's take a moment and just glance at her. I believe this is listed as a #3 lightweight DK yarn, and this is actually really fun because it's 50% cashmere and 50% cotton. So another really fun, sustainable, eco-friendly yarn. Oh, I have this other yarn that Universal Yarn sent me as well. This is Universal Yarn's Vario line, and I believe this is like 80% tencel and 20% wool. So it's a really interesting composition, but again, another sustainable item. So these two color palettes kind of go together, but again, because I only have one of each, I'm not too sure what I could make or get away with essentially just one skein's worth. So suggestions are highly recommended. Please leave any kind of ideas that you have down below. And then, like I said, I have one of this Rico Creative. This is Universal Yarn's Cotton Supreme Waves. I believe this is 100% cotton, but this stuff feels so crazy smooth. It kind of reminds me of like the mercerized cotton. Very, very slippery, almost kind of reminds me of like cashmere. If you guys could like feel this cake, I wish you guys could feel it. It's so nice, but this is a really gorgeous color. Again, these are like the It's Erin B colors. Again, because this is 100% cotton, if you guys wanted to use the Cotton Supreme Waves to make any kind of like summertime skirt, a summertime dress, even like a cardigan, tank top, anything of the sort, you're pretty much not gonna sweat in this.
Sorry.
This is like a ball or a skein. This is like a ball. It's a ball of yarn, okay? This is a skein of yarn, okay? This is a cake. This is a hank.
Hank.
Let me test you. Okay. What's this called?
Skein.
It's a skein. What's this called?
Cake. Ball.
Which one is it?
Ball. Cake.
It's a cake.
It's a cake?
It's caked up. See, look. Cake? Like a cupcake? Think cupcake. What's this?
Ball.
Yeah. This could kind of be classified as like a skein too. I'm not really too sure, but what's this?
Skein.
You got that shit on lock. What's this? That's a hank.
That's a cake? Skein?
Skein. You can kind of call skein and ball, I'd say they're kind of the same thing, but people get real twisted if you call this a skein. Like, that's a hank. Hank, cake, skein, ball. Ding, ding, ding. You passed. You did pretty good.
Thanks.
You're like 3 out of 4.
Thanks.
I'll give it to you. What would you guys call this? If we can have a debate down in the comments, would you call this a skein? Or would you call this a cake? Oh, we're getting so close. All right, the last few things I wanted to show you guys, it's kind of repetitive, but I'm a huge fan of these two yarns right here. Really great summertime recommendation. I've got the Lion brand Trubu yarn and the Lion brand Nubu. Now, these are both extremely similar. I want to say that the Trubu is 100% rayon from bamboo, so this is a sustainable type of fiber, as well as the Nubu is actually 100% lyocell. So I believe lyocell yarns are kind of fibers that are made from plants, and it's the leading fiber industry in terms of energy and water conservation. So I'm a huge fan of these yarns because, one, they're a little bit different from your standard worsted weight number 4. I believe these are listed as a number 3 lightweight yarn. To me, I'm kind of going to call these like a heavy sport weight, but again, these have a really great thickness to them. They're not too chunky and they're not too fine. Now, on top of that, when you guys feel and hold these skeins in your hand, they feel so cashmere, so buttery. When I think of sustainable yarns, the first thing I kind of think of is like hemp, and hemp is typically not the softest yarn. It's a little bit rough, a little bit scruffy. These are so luxurious. You have to get your hands on these. Now, the only downside to these is typically at Joann's and Michael's. I believe each of these skeins can be between $5 and $7. So kind of pricey considering that you're only getting about 240 yards per skein. But again, these feel so great. These next cakes I'm about to show you, I have spent a pretty penny on. I believe this one cake was, I think, $33 or $35, but I got this hand-dyed yarn at a yarn shop out in Redlands. And again, this is one of the most luxurious yarns I've ever gotten my hands on, but it feels so crazy good. And can you guys see these really subtle flecks in color variation? I love that with this cake. It's not typically a color I go for, but when I saw this in store, I just had to get my hands on it. Like, just look at this really subtle peach color. They actually have some like gray specks in here. So again, if you guys have any suggestions on what I should be making with this one cake or what I should pair it with, honestly, now that I'm here in the moment, I also forgot to show you guys, I have some Universal Yarn Magnolia. Now this is another, I believe, like a number 2 sport weight. Oh no, this is actually a super fine yarn. So this is definitely listed as either like a 0 or a number 1. This has a really nice golden sheen to this. It's actually a 95% modal and 5% cashmere type of yarn. So again, another sustainable fiber, but maybe if I were to like pair these two together, that actually might have a really nice, I don't know, kind of texture to it. All right, here is the embarrassing moment that I'm going to show you guys the realness behind It's Erin B. But I'm just gonna go ahead and show them to you once again. I'm pretty sure that all of these yarns I'm about to show you are Malabrigo, either number 1 or number 2 weight yarns. So yeah, let's take a really nice look at this. I'm pretty sure this is the shade Sabiduria. This is Malabrigo Mechita yarn. So again, this is kind of like a number 1 or a number 2 weight yarn. So gorgeous though. Feels really nice, and I'm pretty sure this is 100% merino wool. So I'm kind of surprised that for it not being like a superwash, it feels pretty nice and buttery. But I've had this entire cake, I almost called it a hank, with the intention of making more of those like aerial bralette tops with it, but just never got around to it. There's just too many things on the to-do list. Honestly, now that I'm looking at all of these cakes, I feel like it might be kind of fun to do some kind of scrappy moment again, just because these are all so similar. I know this is extremely disgusting because now there's dog fur over all of these. Oh my gosh, I actually have a lot more than I remember. So again, these are all a little bit different from each other, but they're all by Malabrigo. I went through a phase where I was obsessed. I still am. So I probably spent about $80 or $90 in yarn, and I still haven't touched these. That's kind of a shame, but I'm definitely not tossing these. I'm holding on to these. So let's go ahead and pile these away nice and safe, away from the dog hair. Let's quickly show you the basket. I know I've been sitting in the same spot for this entire video, but the last few things I wanted to show you guys, these are both from my Knit Crate subscription monthly boxes. Now this is my April monthly box that I got. This is the Knitology Wisp DK yarn. This is actually a 100% merino wool yarn, and I kind of like this. It's a little bit different from what I typically use because this looks a little bit more like a 2-ply. I believe this is like a 2-ply merino wool yarn, but it feels really nice, very smooth. Again, could be a little bit softer if it was like a superwash, but again, for it being a merino wool, I love this stuff. I did make a little knit with me kind of video. I'll link it here if you guys want to watch it, but I made a really fun knit distressed top. And then next up, I actually have 2 skeins. This is the Vitalana Lofti DK yarn. Again, this came from my May monthly box. So here she is, Vitalana. I believe this is like a huge mixture of like merino wool, Pima cotton, baby alpaca, huge mixture of yarns, but this is a really fun one. It's actually a lot softer than this first hank, and I think that's because there's the Pima cotton and the baby alpaca makes it so buttery smooth. There's actually a slight, tiny like little halo with that baby alpaca yarn, but this is a fun one because it is a chainette spun yarn, and you guys know I'm obsessed. All right. Oh, let's wrap it up really quickly here. I do still have a leftover cake or ball of yarn. This is from Ice Yarns, and this is their con mohair. I want to talk about this really quickly because I have never used a mohair yarn that has this type of thickness or density to it. Typically, whenever I use mohair yarns, it is a lot more like the Hobbi Diablo yarns. So, all right, here is my comparison. So here with the red yarn, this is the Hobbi Diablo. This is like a #1 or even a 0 super fine mohair, and it's extremely thin. It has a really nice halo, don't get me wrong, but if you guys are trying to knit with this, it's going to take a very long time, or you might even have to like triple strand or double strand with this yarn versus this Ice Yarns Con Mohair. This is actually listed as a #4 medium worsted weight yarn, and can you guys just see, like, there's no mistaking this. It has a really nice quality to it, a really nice drape, and although it's a lot more dense than this type of mohair, the sweater that I made with this actually had a really nice drape to it. It wasn't too heavy, very flowy. So if you guys want to check out the Ice Yarns Con Mohair, I'd highly recommend them. I already showed you guys this a few times in the video, but I do have a grip of the Diablo mohair yarn, so I can't say too much about this. I like these. It's an acrylic, polyamide, and mohair mixture. I've got a bunch of skeins. Nope, skeins, balls. Let's throw them in the mix. All right, here is the second box that we filled pretty much to the brim. It's pretty heavy. I'd probably weigh that at like 15 or so pounds. And here is my bulky worsted weight box. Look at that. We've pretty much fit everything into 2 tote bags. So that's a huge success. Let's move to the closet. Hi, hello, MTV Cribs. Welcome to my closet. All right, so let's throw them in. I want to say which one is heavier. All right, and then the second one, let's throw her, unzip up them. Yo! And look at that. That is almost all of the yarn in my possession currently being stored in my garage, in my closet. So yeah, thank you guys for joining me on this yarn organization type of video. Hope you guys like it. Love you guys so much. If you have any recommendations for me, what I should be using, what yarn with, what kind of tutorial, what videos you guys want to see next, I'm here for it. I'm open. And now it's time to clean up the rest of my room. And don't forget, the chain 2 does not count as a stitch. Bye.